Good evening and welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. We'll get the latest on the record low temperatures. Also tonight. Good evening and thanks for your company this Thursday evening. The freezing temperatures across our region this week are taking their toll on the most vulnerable in society, with the homeless and the elderly hardest hit. St George's Crypt in Leeds says it's providing extra hot meals, and charities have been making home visits for those most at risk from the cold. So, how unusual are these temperatures? Well, last night it was minus 9.4 Celsius in Topcliffe in North Yorkshire. That's the lowest November temperature anywhere in England since 2010. And Storm Bert is likely to give us further weather hazards at the weekend. We'll get the latest forecast from Paul in just a moment. But first, Heidi Tomlinson has our top story. Well, Paul joins us now. It really was unusually cold, wasn't it, for November?
Well, it has turned out to be pretty exceptional. You've already mentioned Topcliffe, which was November night since 1987. So actually, even though it's relatively short, I mean, it's been...
How much longer?
Well, we've got some snow showers coming into West and South Yorkshire over the Pennines on Saturday morning, and even some at lower levels. I mean, it will eventually turn milder, but... The programme, as usual, next tonight, the double Olympic triathlon champion Alistair Brownlee from Leeds has announced he's retiring from the sport at the age of 36. Along with his brother Johnny, he dominated the sport for years, and he was a role model for future Yorkshire athletes who followed in his footsteps. He won gold at the Olympics in London in 2012, and 4 years later in Tokyo. Well, Paul Ogden looks back at his sporting legacy. He absolutely will. You're watching Thursday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. Tonight, the family of Keighley's captain Sir Tom Moore made more than £1 million for themselves through their association with the charity set up in his name. A damning report from the Charity Commission has concluded there were repeated instances of misconduct by the veteran's daughter, Hannah Ingram Moore, and her husband, Colin. She was the interim CEO of the charity and he was the trustee. They've rejected the findings and say they've been treated unfairly. John Ironmonger reports. Many of our region's politicians have been paying tribute to John Prescott, whose death was announced this morning. And you can watch more tributes paid to the former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott. The government's announced an £85 million investment in bus services in Yorkshire and the Humber. The money for the nuclear bunker in West Yorkshire has been sold for almost double its guide price after going under the hammer at auction. For nearly 5 decades, women have been marching through towns and cities in Yorkshire to express their anger about not feeling safe on the streets. The Reclaim the Night movement started in Leeds, partly in response to the Yorkshire Ripper murders. In Rotherham tonight, a march is taking place for the 10th year to highlight concerns around women's safety. We'll be live there in a moment, but first, Kathy Killick looks back at the history of the movement. Well, Beth Parsons is in Rotherham for us tonight, where the march is... Now, for 70 years, the Yorkshire Dales have been providing a breath of fresh air, green open spaces, outstanding beauty and a place to make memories to last a lifetime. But what challenges do our national parks face in the future? And what can those who live in and love the Dales do to secure its future? Olivia Richwald reports. Can't believe she found some real people. Where have they been hiding? Are you a real person?
No, I'm a hologram.
Right, well, they're lucky actually. It's not as cold as it was last night. We've just discussed we got down to -9. This will tell you how cold it is along the coast. Now, I know this is Scarborough, not Bridlington. They had similar temperatures. Snow still on the beach. It's not melting. Don't forget, it was That's the forecast, Keeley.
Busy day for me tomorrow. Do you want to do an extra shift?
No.
Oh, you've done enough work, I think, this week, haven't you?
Thank you.
Take a load off. We'll back at 10:30. Phil will be with you. Good night.